Good morning, I'm meteorologist Lon Salmon bringing you the latest weather update on Tropical Storm Philippe, and this is for October the 2nd, 2023. Well, of course, as many of you would have known already, Antigua and Barbuda are under a tropical storm watch, and a tropical storm watch means that tropical storm conditions are possible within the watch area, and in this case, this will be between 12 and 24 hours. So let's just have a look at where Philippe was at 8 a.m. this morning. Well, as of 8 a.m., the center of the storm was located near latitude 17 degrees north, longitude 60.5 degrees west, or approximately 95 miles or so east-southeast of Barbuda, and about 85 miles or so east-southeast of Antigua. We are looking at a storm with maximum sustained winds of about 50 miles per hour with higher gusts, and currently it is moving rather slowly at just about 7 miles per hour toward the west to northwest, and this motion is expected later this morning. However, later this evening we are anticipating that it will take a northwesterly turn and then a northwesterly turn. So that's just the latest on Philippe with respect to its location and also its intensity. What does it mean here for Antigua, for us here in Antigua and Barbuda, in terms of the possible impacts from this particular system? As I was saying earlier, we are under a tropical storm watch, and the tropical storm watch says that these conditions are possible. Tropical storm conditions are possible. It's really not saying that they are expected. In fact, when we look at the structure of this storm at this point in time, we are seeing that there are relatively light winds that are located west of the center of the storm, which would be the winds closer to Antigua and Barbuda and the Leeward Islands in general. However, east of the center of the storm, that's where we're seeing a lot of the tropical storm force winds up to 50 miles per hour. In fact, we're looking at tropical storm force winds extending outward up to about 170 miles or so from the center, mainly to the northeast and the east of the center. So we continue under a tropical storm watch. Some of the impacts that we are looking at for Antigua and Barbuda, and I'll tell you about it shortly, but we can see the actual probable part of the system over the next several days. If we look at a period between this morning and Tuesday, we can see it is expected to take more of a northwesterly turn. However, we are anticipating that we could get some showers out of this particular system. We're also looking at some swells that could be quite dangerous. And in terms of the winds, we're really not seeing a whole lot of winds for us here in Antigua and Barbuda over the next 24 hours. This is the reason why. If we look at the probability of tropical storm force winds reaching the islands, we can see for Antigua, it's just about, I would say, between 20 and 30%. Of course, that could change because if the storm, the center of the storm, shifts any further west, it therefore means that the probability of us receiving tropical storm force winds will certainly increase. But for now, let's hope that it continues on that particular path where the probability of tropical storm force winds reaching us will be low, or just about 20 to 30%. For Barbuda, we're seeing it a little bit higher, and that is obvious simply because the center of the storm is expected to pass a little bit closer to Barbuda as opposed to Antigua, and so the chances of a tropical storm force winds reaching Barbuda will range in between 40 to 50%. So there's a 50% chance, so to speak, that they could have some minimal tropical storm force winds across the area. We're also looking at quite a bit of convection that is located just south of the center of the storm. We can see the center is highlighted by the white dot that we're looking at there, but south of the center is quite a bit of convection. And in terms of the impacts on Antigua and Barbuda, this is what we are somewhat concerned about it with respect to the water that we could get out of this particular system. Again, if it continues with its current structure and with that quite a lot of that convection located just to the south and somewhat to the southeast of the center, as it moves up across just east of the islands, we could see a lot of that convection spreading over Antigua and Barbuda. We are looking for between 3 to 5 inches of rainfall over a 24-hour period. That kind of rainfall could lead to flash flooding for Antigua and Barbuda. For the other islands, St. Kitts Nevis, also Montserrat and Anguilla, we're really not seeing a whole lot of rainfall, and I think that is obvious simply because of where the storm will, or the center of the storm will pass. They will get showers nevertheless, because we are looking for up to 2 inches of rainfall that could possibly occur across some of these islands that I would have mentioned. Also, as I said, there's a flash flood watch that is likely to be in place for Antigua and Barbuda later this morning. Now, let's look at the situation with the winds. As I mentioned before, the light winds are located west of the center of the storm. We are really not seeing any tropical storm force winds as such right now at the west of the center of the storm. Nevertheless, I would have mentioned earlier that you could have changes, and so that's why we are going to continue to monitor this very carefully over the next 24 hours. We are also looking at impacts from swells as well too. Tropical storm Philippe is likely to generate swells possibly reaching up to 9 feet that could propagate from the storm and move across the coastal waters of the island. And more than likely, there will be a high surf warning that will be in effect, and for mariners as well too. Again, I would have mentioned that these swells, when they break, they could create some very dangerous surfs on our coastal areas, and so mariners should ensure that their boats are properly secured, because when these swells break, they could cause a bit of a problem. So that's just the latest that we're looking at with respect to Tropical Storm Philippe. Again, just want to leave you that there is a tropical storm watch that is in place for Antigua and Barbuda, not for the other islands or the other leeward islands, for Antigua and Barbuda. The next thing I would like to bring to your attention is that very shortly there's likely to be a flash flood warning in place for Antigua and Barbuda as well. And that's because we are anticipating that we could get a significant amount of rainfall out of this particular system, which could lead to flash flooding in low-lying areas. So the individuals who are the most vulnerable, individuals who are living in low-lying areas, we are suggesting to you to ensure that you take those steps that will guard against the possibility of flash flooding in your area. Well, that's where I would leave you for now. Do continue to have a pleasant day. Again, I'm meteorologist Lon Salmon, and of course you can get additional information from our YouTube channel, Antigua and Barbuda Meteorological Services. Do have a great day.